Wow, we play against a rather strong opponent this time, so let's have some fun, hopefully. I'll try to play some like solid English opening, which now switched into the Catalan, and I want to have a really, you know, like solid setup against this player, and one goal is to play e4. But first I just want to get my pieces in a better position, and I want to play a little bit quicker than normally. This knight might be very good on e5. Maybe he wants to play rook a2, yeah. But I can play bishop c3 anyway. Maybe I exchange the rook with a1. And I could already play e4. But why not playing a rook a1? Let's see. Okay, he virtually forces me to play rook a1. If he wants to play bishop c2 afterwards to catch my queen, I just take the rook. He takes here and I take there, and his bishop is can't move anywhere. So did he see this? What does he want to do now? Escape here. Okay. I think this position is okay for me. Is it that bad? What about if I play something like, well, just take here. Okay. So material wise, I'm not that bad shape, not in such a bad shape. I need to take care that the queen doesn't have a lot of entry points, but it has. It can go to c2, d3. So maybe I should counter-attack. Oh, I tried to keep everything in place. And this bishop might be good on c5. And then I want to play rook a7 maybe. So, I mean, he's material wise, this is a little bit advantage for him, but he needs to prove it now. And it's not that easy. Maybe I should play bishop b6. And he can't even play something like b7, b6 later. And maybe what does he want to do? Yeah, and now he's really trying to find a plan, because it doesn't make sense if you just move the pieces around. He has a weakness here. f6. He wants to play e5. And then maybe he wants to enter here. But if he really takes, I can play rook e7. Maybe I can play rook or bishop e7 now. But then the rook would go here. Oh, it's interesting. I don't like that the rook was on this diagonal. So let's attack this pawn. If he takes here, rook e7. Interesting. Okay, he doesn't seem to care about this.
Check.
Isn't it good for me? What does he want to do? I'm threatening checkmate. I'm a bit surprised that he allowed me to do this. So, what is his plan now? I mean, at least I have a perpetual. If he moves the king here, I just go back. Yeah. Do I have more?
Check.
Okay. Let's repeat for one time. Maybe he wants to do something else. If you take the other rook, he has to go here. But I don't have a nice move for my rook to go to. Yeah, so I think this is just a draw. If I take this rook, he has to go to f8. Rook f7. If he goes here, what can I do? I don't want to give my my two rooks for the queen, so yeah.
Check.
I think I just need to agree to
Check.
a draw.
Check. Game drawn.
Yeah, well, interesting game. Yeah, I was a bit surprised that I could play against a stronger opponent than usually, because most of the time when I play against someone unknown and he doesn't know how strong I am, like players above 2000 rarely play this game. So yeah, but what can we learn from this game? I think it was interesting, this different kind of material. I mean, black was a bit better, but the hard thing was here in this position. It's not very easy for black to win this. I mean, he is slightly better, yes, but my pieces are protected, and he has some weaknesses in his camp. And how can he enter here? He needs to try to get this rook maybe to c2 or something to attack here, but I think we both try to improve the position of our pieces. My bishop on c3 is not that good here. It's much better on c5. That's why I shifted my pieces, but I also needed to take care a little bit here that he might enter, and so this bishop is really not good here. So c5 is a good place for my bishop, and my rooks are good here on the 7th rank, and that's what I tried to do. And black himself, he needs to find an open line for this rook, because his chance is to go somewhere on the 2nd rank as well to attack this weakness. And this is why the bishop on this diagonal is also good. Maybe I can play later d5, even sacrificing a pawn and protecting here on f2. And if you look a little bit further, it's still not easy for him. And I thought he needed to protect the pawn, like rook to d7. It's not that useful here. Maybe I could play something like bishop d6, but he wanted to play e5 to enter here on d2 with the rook. Okay, I have the problem with this bishop if I take, but first I really wanted this pawn, because an endgame is now not that bad for me anymore. And here maybe what I played is okay. I just thought I'd do some kind of waiting move, because I wanted him to play to take here and then enter the 7th rank. On the other side, maybe is bishop b6 better, just to keep the bishop on this diagonal, attacking the rook at the same time, and then taking here on e5, because I was a bit afraid that if I take here that he could play rook d2. But I mean, this bishop is protecting f2, so I don't like rook c7 anymore, and I played maybe too quick. I mean, I had more than 2 minutes left, and yeah, it's interesting. So okay, this is a draw position. Maybe black shouldn't take on c5 and try to improve this pawn here, to promote the pawn on d1, even if I take here, because it just go to h8 and I can never go to h7, because he just sacrifices his exchange the queen against the 2 rooks. So here best move for black would be just to play d3, I think. But this was an interesting game, and you can learn from this game just to try to find the best squares for your pieces.